Help me, Mama.
Hey everybody, this is Emily with Help Me Mama. Today I'm going to be talking about a problem that you might have had. I know I've had it with my boys. When every time your toddler falls or gets just a teeny tiny bit hurt, it's an explosion of tears and crying. It hurts. How can you deal with this problem? I'm going to give you a couple of tips for the norm of why this happens, and then I'm going to go over one exception. So here we go. The first thing I would say is don't rush in. If every time your toddler gets hurt, you're running in going, oh, are you okay? Because of course you're worried that they're going to explode in tears, right? It might have been caused by you rushing in with kisses and, making the boo-boos all better. If you stand back, I usually try not to react until they react. Try to get their first reaction rather than them responding to your first reaction. So you deal with the problem responding to them rather than they responding to you. If they look at you and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a huge deal, then of course they're going to start crying, they're going to reciprocate. So don't rush in, see what they do. And then number 2 is I would try to start encouraging, and this can be fun, encouraging your toddler to shake it off. And it's funny, I've seen kids shake it off with their hand or they'll shake it off with their foot like a dog, which is a crack up. But if they get hurt and they come to you and they're crying, and you can say, okay, baby, let's shake it off. Let's shake it off. And you make it fun. And if they can shake it off, it means that it's not that big of a boo-boo. Okay? So try to encourage them to shake it off. And number 3, if it is an actual boo-boo that does kind of hurt, this isn't like an emergency situation. This is like, oh, they got a scrape. It might even be bleeding a little bit. I would say kiss it all better. And then you can also remind them that God will heal it, and you can pray for them. And usually with those minor scrapes and bruises and things like that, with Ryland, he was so cute actually. He got like 1 or 2 boo-boos that were really bad, and then for like a week he kept saying boo-boo toe, and his toe maybe it was a little sore, or who knows what it was. And I just reminded him that God will heal it, and I would blow a kiss to his toe and say, okay, God will heal it. And then now that his toe is healed, about everything, not just his toe, but about every single tiny little bumper bruise that he gets, he comes up and says, oh, got hurt, God healed it. And then we say, thank you, God. And it's a good reminder that God heals all of our boo-boos and all of our hurts. And so I would definitely suggest that one. Just a reminder, a little kiss and, okay, dear God, help this boo-boo heal. And then God healed it. But again, don't make a big deal if you can. If you're calm, they will be calm. They're going to learn how to respond to cuts and scrapes the way you do. So you have to know. Now, over here I have my exception. Now, this is like sad for me to admit. But Owen went through a time where he was crying about every little boo-boo that he had. And I was kind of fed up. And I did this. I did the don't rush in. But I was a little bit like exasperated with all of this. And rather than me having a good attitude about it, I think that I sort of exasperated him. And it got to the point where I was kind of like, come on, get over it, kid. And then rather than being like sad that he got hurt, he was using it as an excuse to get some affection. And in that case, this did not work. And what I needed to do was give him a time, a regulated amount of time, like a week or so, where you do give them some extra attention when they get a boo-boo, to ensure that they know that you love them and that you care about them when they do get a boo-boo. Because it was at the point, I think, where he got hurt a couple of times where he was really hurt, and I responded like, come on, get over it, kid, because he was crying about everything, right? If that sort of situation, if you can kind of sense that happening, I would say, okay, I'm going to give extra care for a certain amount of time, and then we're going to wean him off of this like extra attention. Okay, if that makes sense. And he did pretty well with that. Once he knew that mom wasn't like mad at him or frustrated with him whenever he got hurt, then he was ready to shake it off and get a kiss all better and things like that. So it hurts my heart that that happened to us, but I think it may or may not be common. I don't know if it is. You ready for sleeping on ice, baby girl? Okay, this is Emily for Help Me Mama. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. You can always pass it along to a friend.
Help me, Mama!